slash Elmachias slash chat is just the chat box. It's kind of cool.
Right.
So I got that pulled up. We'll go live. Hey, we're live. We're live 10 minutes early, even though Steve's our guest, just so we can talk about BS.
I'm waiting for my ad to run.
Oh, yeah. That means everybody's waiting for their ad to run.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless they're subscribers.
What up? Yes,
there
yeah.
We go.
Friend, that's the closest I've ever come to swearing.
And let me bring up the chat.
Who just subscribed? Who goes there? Let's see what just happened. We got M Flood Photo. Thank you for Matt. I feel like I know that name. Thanks for following. Gotta pull this stuff on my phone. What up?
There we go. Chat's up.
Hey, Steve. Nice. What up, everyone? What up, Cornish?
What up, everyone? Good morning.
Bryn's here. Gotta get Bryn on the mod here. / mod Bryn Osborne.
What's up, Connor?
Oh, Nicole. Yeah, Connor, of course, is here.
Nicole's here. Bryn.
Yeah, we got good. Yo, what was I gonna say, Steve?
What were you gonna say? Were you gonna comment on the fact that we both have telescopes behind us, and it wasn't even pre-planned?
I feel like this is a nice telescope. Is yours nicer? Yours looks actually nicer.
Yours is a nice telescope.
Mine says
what you got to do is attach your camera
strong.
to it. One of my favorite things is attaching my camera. It's called afocal photography. Attach your camera to the telescope. So the telescope becomes your lens, and now I have an 1800 millimeter f/14 lens.
Cole, come on, get on your stuff. Scooter poop. We back. We are back. It's another Steve and Adam episode because we had Steve this week. I think next week we're either having... No, the week after next, Michelle's doing it. And this week, I think Christian Tyranny is doing it. But he's got to email me back. And sometimes people will get all the way to saying yes, they'll do it. And then the email just won't come through.
I know.
We'll see.
I have, for my podcast...
what up, Tom?
Doing my podcast is easy. The hardest part of my podcast is getting people just to...
show up?
Yeah. To get... The behind-the-scenes details is just hard. Hey, yeah. Tom.
I heard I was expressing my concerns about like how hard of a time I was having getting some people to confirm a time or they like bail and stuff. And I was talking to I was actually talking to Black with No Cream guys. And they were like, yeah, that person's very hard to book. And I had never heard it phrased as that before. I'm like, they're not hard to book. They just don't text me back.
Yeah, because really what it is, people make time for things that are important to them.
Yeah, and if it's not important to them, I guess I just have to move on. Yeah. So,
which is fine. That's what we all should do. Hi, Lisa.
Yeah.
Yeah, people make time for things that are important to them. That's really what it comes down to, which is why I'm here every Sunday, because this is important to me.
And because I pay you tons and tons of money.
Yeah, well, we weren't going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm forming a union.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's great. What's it for? It's for this?
Yeah, for this.
Oh.
Yeah, that way I'll have some bargaining power on salary talk.
Well, I don't understand what a union is or what salary talk is, so it doesn't work because I don't understand.
See, people pay attention to things they care about.
Adam said it's exposure.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, income. Yeah, the young renegade. What up? Hello, welcome.
And before somebody starts running with it, no, I don't do this for money. I do this because I love being here with this community. That's the truth.
Yeah, one time actually, Steve actually got me taught me a lot because see, remember in San Diego when we went to the critique things you do in real life.
Oh yeah.
Steve does this thing where it's a different generation of photographers. Let me just preface it by saying that it's more like.
And by the way, let me interrupt you. That's a key part, by the way.
Yeah, that it's different generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more people who I would say are have a lot of other things going on in their life, and they're used to doing stuff IRL. And Steve meets up with it's like 20 or so photographers, and they go to like a hotel lobby, not lobby, like a conference room.
It depends where you go. Like
you explain
professional
it.
So they're image competitions, and the one we went to was the Professional Photographers of San Diego County. And their membership that shows up for their image competitions is probably 20, 25. But if you go to LA, you could end up with 50 people out there. And when we do ours in person here in the Inland Empire, we've had times where we've had 90 people in there, and we critique the images, but
Yes.
they're critique not like what I do on my show or stuff. It's a competition. So what happens is you got 3 judges, an image is put up in front of you for maybe 30 seconds. The judges look at it, the judges score it, and then one judge is called on to talk about why
Thanks,
they gave the
Cornish
score
Gamer.
that they did.
Sorry, I just want to say thanks to Cornish Gamer for stuff.
No worries.
Yeah, it's cool. Steve, I forgot to change the name of the stream. So
You did? So what's it called?
Chatting with some portrait photographers. It kind of works.
Yeah, it does. I forgot to rename me too, so let me rename me. There we go.
Steve editing Cage the Elephant. Let's do that.
Done. I can't change your name. Hey, Sydney.
I can change
What's
my
up?
name. Well, I can change my name. Steve. What's that audio? What am I hearing?
I said, "Hey, Sydney," to the chat room, and Siri went off. Let me put this thing in airplane mode. Siri went off and said, "I'm trying to help people understand."
Yes.
Thank you, Siri. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Nicole's got 13,000 in sensor dust.
Oh well.
Wow.
That's enough to
Time to
get
start
you,
using
That's enough
that.
to get you banned. I'm just kidding.
Cornish Game Hound's got 14. Wow, I'm really low.
It's because they're subscribers. 18. Wow.
So what's been happening with you?
Film Troy.
And as you're in this beautiful outdoor patio, tell the story you told me in the green room about this patio, because I think it's really cool.
Fishy NM, thank you for following. Hey Steve, is the name of the stream better? Hanging with is it? Let me refresh it. Alright, it's good now.
Steve Brazill editing Cage the Elephant. Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, cool. What did you say? What did you ask me?
Tell the story you told me about this room that you're in.
Yeah, so when I'm in Wisconsin, which is where I am right now, I stay with my second mother. Actually, my third mother. I would consider myself having 4 moms. This is my third mother, and when I grew up, I lived like 2 blocks from here, and I would come here a lot. And this is like their living room's right there, and their outside backyard is there, and I'm on the 2nd floor. And this is my second, maybe arguably first father's room, and he built this so that he could sit out here and watch the thunderstorms roll in, because they always come from that direction, which is, I don't know.
So
where's the sunset? That's in the east, set in the west.
You're on the 2nd floor here?
Yeah.
Wow. I just love it looks so beautifully built. Gorgeous wood walls.
Oh yeah, nice. It's really nice in here.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to get to that area.
Yo, Nicole.
Who's been to Wisconsin? Who in the chat's been to Wisconsin?
It was Kauai Trash. They gifted a bunch before. Just, Sydney, I just really suddenly have a sub. Thank you. I think it was Kauai Trash. They gifted 5 last time. You can, I don't know if it says who they gifted them to, but yeah. What'd you say, Steve? Sorry. I went off on a tangent.
Nicole said she'd sit in that room all day long.
Oh, yeah. I do sit here. Like, when I come here and visit, I sit here and work on my computer all day. That's nice. That's the first time I'm streaming up here, though. I was worried about the sound of the AC unit.
No, I don't hear anything at all. I mean, my air I usually turn off, but it's on right now. Can you hear it?
No, you're good. Yo, Steve, we went to a cheese factory. They're talking about cheese. And we got
a cheese factory in Wisconsin?
Yeah. Believe it or not.
Tell me about it.
Cheese curds, mozzarella balls, sharp cheddar, 7-year aged, more cheese curds, string cheese in a cheese curd package, so it's like fresh. And then we also got cheese fudge, which is really good.
Wait, whoa. Cheese what?
Fudge. So it's like...
Please tell me it's not cheese mixed with chocolate.
No, it's chocolate made of cheese. So it's chocolate, but the base is cheddar cheese. I'm not kidding, it's in my fridge. It's really good. It just tastes like fudge. It doesn't taste like cheese.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned string cheese, and string cheese is a fave. I love string. Who doesn't like string cheese?
But it comes, you know how cheese curds come in a bag? We talked about this last time.
Well, I do now because you told me last week, yeah.
The string cheese comes in the bag too.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyone ever had
Wensleydale cheese? No, I hope this isn't. It's probably something weird. Are you from another country? I feel like you are. Oh.
Who has the strength
Connor.
not to see 7-year-old? Good cheddar? There's nothing like great cheddar.
There's
like a
nothing.
good sharp cheddar.
Yeah. This stuff is.
Or a Gouda. I like a Gouda.
Oh, not there's
How long
smoked Gouda. What?
By the way, how long are you back there for?
Yo, so check it out. I got hired to shoot a wedding in the 10th of one of my best friends in Vermont. And I was like, I don't think I can do this, man. I'm not going to fly right now. And then I was like, oh, I'll just stay out here longer and drive there and then drive home. So we're staying out here for another 2 weeks. And then we're going to go to Maine to visit my girlfriend's best friend. And then New York. And then we're going to go like Pittsburgh. And then we're going to go to Vermont. And then we're going to drive back to California.
Nice. We did a trip. We went to Vermont.
Yep.
Stayed in a place called Woodstock, Vermont. Ended up driving the entire state of Vermont, and then we went to Maine. And I got to say, and we did it like in October, right, with the leaves changing color, which, as you know, we don't get out here.
Yeah.
These were oranges I don't think I've ever seen in my life on some of these trees. It's so beautiful.
Man.
And
yeah, I wish we were hitting the fall.
Yeah, because we did Acadia National Park, which is right outside of what's the main town in Maine? I can't think of it now, but just gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I wish you were around that time. You did it right, Steve. Hey, Steve, welcome. It's 5 o'clock. We're starting the Raw Editing Challenge, and our guest today is Steve Brazill. Steve, where are you tuning in from?
I'm in, this is so weird. I'm in Southern California.
Oh, I'm usually there.
Yes, you are. Well, you are in spirit.
All the way from Hemet, we got Steve Brazill.
I don't even know where that came from. I'm not far from Hemet, though. I'm actually not far from Hemet. I'm probably 30 minutes from Hemet.
Yo, Steve, check out the emojis for the channel. I added a new one.
Oh, did you? Hold on.
We can start this off with you. Are you shower shoes or not shower shoes?
I would be shower shoes, yeah.
All right, well, I got a emoji for you then. There's one there's a Steve shower shoes.
There's a no shower shoes and a show. Yeah, I'd be shower shoes hands down. I'm one of those weird people that I don't like going in public showers. Like if I'm in a motorhome, even it's like, yeah, I'd rather use the shower in the motorhome.
Your bald emoji is so funny. Oh, what's up, Parker? Welcome.
Yeah, hey, Parker, what's up, man?
Yeah.
And Daniel.
And Daniel. Oh yeah.
And Tom. Hey, El Macias is here.
Oh yeah. Why does my alien have a little star on it? What's that mean? Oh, because I'm a 3-month subscriber. Tier 3? I don't know.
Where'd it go?
Oh, because I'm a tier 3. That's what it is for.
Nice.
Yeah, I subscribe to my own channel. That's not true.
Supporting the cause.
Yeah. Okay, Steve. Let's do an interview.
Okay. This is gonna be awkward. Oh wait, whoa, Daniel. Where'd you get that?
He paid for it with his sensor dust. You can modify
glasses.
Yeah, so you can modify an emote with the sensor dust for 24 hours.
Dude, hold on.
And Jasmine's here. What up, Jasmine?
Okay.
Yo, it's like you have a voodoo doll. Oh my goodness, that's censored us well. That censored us well. Stream Elements stop.
Jasmine is here. Hey, Jasmine.
Yeah, Jasmine edited this photo for the first time.
She did. It was her first one. I was so glad to see that.
I
haven't seen her since Self-Help.
I haven't seen her since, like in real life, I think the same. No, yeah. I saw her. We went to All Time Low. Wait, yeah, we went to All Time Low together in back when there were concerts last year.
Did you see what Parker said?
So how does this work? Does Steve also interview himself? That would be funny.
Steve interviews Steve.
Yeah,
that's the show title right there. Steve interviews Steve.
Yeah, go Steve. Let's hear it. What would you ask yourself?
No. What would I ask myself?
I try to think like Steve when I interview, because he's a good interviewer.
I don't know what I would ask myself, actually. I'm not used to being on this side of it.
Oh, man.
I'm normally on the other side interviewing.
Yeah, we got to do... I know too much to interview Steve. Jer Music. What up?
Yeah, Jer's here.
We got a lot of good people here. I like that we have a community every week. I just want to say thank you guys. I hope Quiet Trash shows up because they always give subs. And that's not why I want them to show up. But I want them to show up because I owe them a thank you.
Yeah, the community, we get The same people coming back each and every week, and we just all have fun. So that's just awesome.
Yeah, and we'll get
So what do
like,
you want to know?
In Carter's Eyes is new. What up? Welcome. I don't know what that nice
Hey.
means. TwitchCon. This person's a pro. What up? What was it gonna say? Steve. Okay. Steve. Music photography. That's my guy. I usually do the interviews, so this is fine. I just know so much about you that I'm trying to make sure that I dial it back.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Steve, let's start off.
What?
Since your hair care routine, let's hear it. I need to know, like, how long does it take, how often do you do it, and what's your shave gel of choice?
Yeah, so my hair care routine is usually twice a week. I shave it. I don't use shaving cream or anything. Usually I'll blow dry it afterwards. No, kidding. No, I just hair care routine is usually just soap and a trimmer that I just run over it, and I'm good to go. Makes it fast and easy.
That is
But I
great.
got to do it twice a week because, unlike Adam, who shaves by choice, I'm
Yeah.
bald in the middle. So
Bald
if I
by
don't,
choice.
yeah, if I don't shave the sides, I look stupid. So I shave it.
I'm balding. Balding too. That's why I started shaving.
All men do sooner or later. That's what's so funny.
All men bald.
I mean, most. I shouldn't say all men. Most men do.
Most men, yeah.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Steve, when did you start shooting? When?
Actually, the way I started shooting is so not normal for most music photographers. My son, when he got in high school, got into marching band, and I wanted. This was probably. When did he go into high school? He went into high school in 2008, and I started photographing probably 2007. But I walked into a camera store and I said, "My son's in marching band. He's on a football field. He's playing drums. He's in drum line. I want to be able to photograph him, but I'm going to be way up in the stands. What do I need?" And they came out with, at the time, a Canon XTI. Yeah, really, the telescope. They came out with a Canon XTI and an equivalent Nikon. I held them both. The only reason I shoot Canon is because it was more comfortable in my hand at that point. And then they handed me, they said that it came with the kit lens, but they handed me a 70 to 300, 3.5 to 5.6, and a 70 to 200 2.8.
Okay.
And they
Math checks out.
They said you'll need one of these for shooting from the stands. The black one is 300, but it's not as good of a lens. The white one is a better lens. And my response, being an idiot at the time, was, well, 300 is more than 200. And the camera's a black camera. It's going to look weird with a white lens attached to a black camera. And I bought the 70 to 300 variable aperture. And then sitting in the stands, photographing my kid on the football field, I didn't understand why. Just like I'd be perfect exposure at 70, and I'd zoom into 300, and suddenly I'd look at the pictures later on the computer, and my photos were all dark. Because by zooming, it changed the aperture. I didn't understand it. It ends out buying the wrong lens.
5.6. Was it 5.6?
Yeah, go from 3.5 to 5.6.
Ugh.
And I didn't know that. I just bought what I thought was kind of automatic.
5.6. Yeah.
It was the greatest lesson in photography ever to buy the wrong lens, because I had to very quickly learn the exposure triangle, understand how the camera works and how exposure works, and work around that lens that I bought. And it made me a much better photographer in the long run.
Steve.
Transfer from that, I've been a radio for 40 years.
And I just heard I've been a radio for 40 years, and I just pictured you being one.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I had hair when I started, though. But what's funny was, in the old days of radio, backstage was industry people. So radio people, record company people would get backstage for meet and greets. And we used to get, every show I went to, we'd get free tickets and we'd go meet the artists. That when that transferred to selling VIP stuff, that kind of all went away. But I went to my boss at the radio station one day and I said, "Look, I'm into photography now. We get tickets and passes backstage to concerts. Can I get a photo pass?" And this was 2008. And his response to me was, "I don't know, ask somebody." And I said, "Well, they may want a business card to prove who I am, and DJs don't have business cards. Salespeople do." He goes, "Here." Emailed me the radio station logo and said, "Make your own card." And within 2 weeks, I was at, you'll know the venue, the Universal Amphitheater, the old Universal Amphitheater in LA.
I don't know that venue.
Yeah, it's gone now, but it was huge at the time.
Oh, okay.
Photographing Heart and Def Leppard within 2 weeks.
Wow.
And that's really unusual, as you know. Normally, you got to work your way up. I just happened to be, quote unquote, traditional media, being in radio, and that got me an in. That's
There
how
you
I got
go.
started in music photography.
You found your path. I don't think anybody else is going to have that path.
No, nobody else is going to have the path. But I will say, having been around artists so much, it made my transition into photography easier too, because I'd already had artists coming to the radio station. I was already used to that world, right?
That makes sense. Yo, Steve, when you were talking about buying lenses, I really just wanted to ask this question. Do you remember? Maybe it's different for you because you started photography in your adult life, but do you remember when you learned how expensive lenses were? Like, excuse me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, does everybody remember that moment when you're like, well, I spent so much money on the camera, now I just have to buy a lens?
Yeah, and most people don't think. When I first found out, when I wanted a 70 to 200 2.8, and I found out it was close to $2,000, and I totally didn't understand it until you get it.
Yeah, and you're like, oh. Yo, thank you, Odin. By the way, are you guys friends? I saw you guys saying what's up. Odin, if you brought a friend here named Nate Hill, that's cool. Sorry, Steve, but we're just here today, so I feel like we can say thank you to people without interrupting anybody.
We can do anything that we want. That's the beauty of it.
Anything you can do, I can do. Also,
do better. Anna's here.
Oh yes, let's go. Okay, Tom's going to bed because
Nate edited
it's like
this
3
picture too a couple times. I think Nate did a couple of edits on this picture.
Oh yeah, Nate is Nate's Instagram. Yo, Connor, can you pull up Nate Hill's Instagram? Cause it's cool. I don't know if you looked at it, but it's like trippy, especially.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love is as you start going through, and it doesn't mean that it's my shot. Each week, if you start going to look at some of the other stuff when people submit an image, an edit, when you go look at the other stuff they do, it's awesome.
Yeah, this guy has cool art. Everybody check it out. It's really cool. Especially if you zoom in and out or scroll up and down on it on Instagram. It's cool. Somehow
like look at the one, wow, where the water like goes off and then falls.
My shirt was inspired by his Instagram.
Oh yeah, all the lines.
Yeah.
Oh, the one with the circle.
Yeah, man.
The guy standing in the middle of it, dude.
It's cool. Nate does good stuff. Yeah,
you got some, and he does. You're right. He does a lot of lines.
Yeah. Leading lines.
Very creative.
Yeah, good job, man. Happy we have cool people like you in here just doing photography. That's sweet. Steve, okay. You did some weird path, radio, get into photography.
Yep.
How long ago was that?
2008.
We started doing it similar time.
Yeah.
Started a little bit, like, pretty much. Okay. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but you shot for, like, a casino. You were, like, a house photographer for a long time.
Yeah, I was and that actually I missed. I was the house photographer for a casino in Southern California, Indian casino, San Manuel Indian Casino.
Mm-hmm.
And San Manuel Casino got some great shows. I mean, they got everything from, classic country artists like the Oak Ridge Boys to Kiss.
And what's the
acoustic?
And what's the venue like at a place like that? Is it like...
Well, and that's the funny thing was I had, up until I got hired, I had avoided shooting there because it was their bingo room.
Oh.
It was a giant flat floor bingo room with a stage at the end.
Interesting.
And so it wasn't tiered. Seeing the shows, if you were far back, weren't great. They finally added some satellite speakers back there so that you had some sound. But for the longest time, it just wasn't a great venue. It got better over time. But when somebody that I knew worked there referred me when they were looking for a house photographer, because what they did, and by the way, it's a great idea for people that are looking to get into doing that type of thing. This was a venue that had their own marketing department. It was a giant casino. They're huge. And so they have marketing guys that do all their in-house ads and printing and everything. Well, those guys would alternate who shot each concert for the venue for marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, somebody that was in charge said, we want to get an actual photographer in here just to be the house photographer. I was recommended. The copyright conversation when I was there was fantastic, actually. But when I ended up doing that, I loved it because shooting for the radio station, you generally can only get a photo pass for a show you've got an outlet for. So for me, I work in rock radio.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I'm going to be able to shoot, Beyonce. because I don't have anywhere to put the pictures. They don't want Beyonce pictures on our website at the radio station, or Taylor Swift or whatever.
They're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to. I'm not going to be able to shoot Drake because I can't put the pictures on the website. Well, shooting for the casino gave me the ability to shoot, classic disco and hip hop and mariachi bands and classic country and Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin experience. And so it was great because I got to shoot a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved doing that. But when I went
good training.
When I got called for that job, I reached out to you, and I reached out to Alan Hess and a couple other people just to get their ideas on when I go to meet with them. And one of my things was, I want my copyright. So when I went in and I said to them, I want my copyright, their response was, well, no, anybody who shoots for us, we own the pictures. I said, okay, that's fine, but not for the price we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, what would you do with the pictures? I said, I'd be able to post them on my portfolio, my social media, and if an artist wanted licensing, they'd come to me, not you.
And you'd make T-shirts and coffee mugs, right?
Yeah, exactly. So her response was, okay, that's fine. So they paid me so much a show, but I retained my copyright, and I've ended up licensing those images on a couple of occasions to artists.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's a little different than what you do. It's a little different than tour photography.
A lot different, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I have all access. Here's the other difference is when you're doing tour photography, you have all access and you can shoot the full show.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was shooting for the venue in a casino, which, by the way, they don't like cameras in a casino to begin with, I had all access. So I could go anywhere. But I was still only allowed the first 3.
Okay, gotcha.
So the way I set myself up was I'd shoot the first 3, and then I would leave all my camera gear on. I had a double rapid strap and a think tank belt.
Sponsored.
I'd go stand in the wings,
mm-hmm.
just with my gear on and watch the show. And the advantage was in almost every show, a tour manager would come up and say, what are you doing? And I would say, I've got all access, show them the pass. I'm not shooting. I'm just watching the show. And even though I wasn't supposed to, inevitably they would always say to me, no, go ahead and shoot.
Steve.
Just because I put myself there, I was able to get shots. And those are usually the ones I license.
And you're really noticeable.
I'm noticeable.
Because the head.
I'd wear bright yellow too.
Yeah. But that's great. I just wanted to say, can you tell us more about copyright? Because in Carter's Eyes, which also is pretty cool because In Carter's Eyes says they were the photographer at TwitchCon in 2019. That's pretty sweet. That's pretty cool. But they wanted to know if you could elaborate more on how the copyright stuff, like how that conversation went.
Yeah, so there's so much misunderstanding out there on copyright. So I ended up with my podcast, I ended up doing 3 shows on copyright, where I got, the first show was Copyright for Photographers, where I got a very well-known copyright attorney on by the name of Ed Greenberg. And then his partner is a Canon Explorer of Light, who's a photographer by the name of Jack Resnicki. They go by the Copyright Zone. Their website is the Copyright Zone. And I got them on to talk about copyright for photographers specifically and the details on how everything works. When the Copyright Office changed some things, 2018, we did it again. And then I did a full video on my walkthrough on how I register my images, because I register all of my images. When you take a picture, obviously you own the picture, you own the copyright.
Mm-hmm.
Unless certain conditions happen, and it's so detailed, you almost need a lawyer. But, a helicopter view is, if you go in on a job, like, for example, if they had said to me, we own copyright, but they never put anything in writing, if I never signed anything in writing that it was a work for hire job. So work for hire means they're hiring you to work. They own the product that you create.
Yeah, sometimes they'll even give you a camera. Like, it's basically like you're here to do a job. That's all you want.
Right. It's just like you don't own the sandwich you make if you work at Subway. We do. Whoa. It's the same thing if you do work for hire.
Yeah.
Without that being, there is no work for hire without it being in writing. You own the copyright. A work for hire is effectively kind of like a copyright transfer that you're saying that they own it.
What if you sign a W-9 or whatever it is that says you're an employee?
Yeah, W-2, you're just employee. That's an interesting one, which again, not a lawyer, consult your lawyer. But in theory, if you are an employee, it really depends on what your job description is. So if you're an employee, let's say, and your job is taking pictures,
mm-hmm.
then it's most likely that they own the pictures. But if you're an employee and your job is that you're a bartender, but then they have you on a one-off or now and then shoot pictures, that's not your job description, the odds are you own the copyright. So it gets really convoluted. That's why lawyers get involved. But the other thing most people don't understand, because I know that we have an international audience here,
Thank you.
and this is one of the things I love that I learned from Jack and Ed, was no matter where you are in the world, if you have an image that's going to be infringed, right? A company is going to take your image and use it commercially for profit. The odds are that it's going to be infringed in the United States. I don't care if you're an Australian photographer, if you're in Switzerland, the odds are good somebody in America might infringe your image. Registering your images in the US is critical. You own the copyright, but if you go after somebody that infringes your images just because you own the copyright, you're limited to what's called actual damages in most cases, which means you steal my image, you use it in an ad campaign that generates $100 million for you, but I didn't register my image and I would have licensed it to you for $100. I can only claim $100.
Well, how do you determine the amount you would have licensed it? What if you would have licensed it for $100,000? Like, how do you?
Well, it would be standard rates. You know, what would you normally charge? And you can't just make a number up. That would probably be shot down in a court. But if you register your image with the Copyright Office, the U.S. Copyright Office, which again, anybody in the world can do online. If you register your image with the Copyright Office, that makes you eligible for statutory damages, which is up to $150,000 per infringement. And the reason it matters, because you're not most likely going to get 150, but I mean, if you got 10, hey, that's $10,000. That's great. But the reason it matters is most copyright attorneys won't take your case and take it to court, which is a federal thing. It's federal law. They won't even take the case unless the image is registered because they know there's not enough money in it.
Okay.
And again, if you go to behindtheshot.tv and search for copyright, I've got 3 episodes in there.
And then I also know that if you guys ever want, there's a site called A Photo Editor, which is a very good resource site. And I believe I don't know their official name, but they've been around for a long time, and they have something on copyright on there I read once. But they have very good resources, and they're very check that site out too. It's a good website.
Well, and like the book behind me, The Copyright Zone by these 2 guys, they've you may have seen them, some of the people, if you ever go to like a Photoshop World or something, because they used to do talks there. But their book, The Copyright Zone, has legal forms you can use. It walks you through every step of the way. There's a lot of really good resources out there. Thank you, Connor, for putting the link in there. So there's the copyright talk. And again, I'm not an attorney.
Sponsor of this video, of this channel.
I'm not an attorney, and there's a lot of variance in every case, but it's important you register your images. Like this image that I gave out for this is a registered image. People are editing it here. If somebody were to take this image and use it for T-shirts, yeah, it's registered. I could go after them.
Yes. Well, now we know. Come to the channel.
You know.
Now come to the channel, learn about copyright.
Nicole, the copyright hurts my brain. Copyright hurts your brain, but let me give you an example. Adam goes on tour. When you're on tour and you shoot pictures for a band, who owns the pictures?
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah.
I do.
There you go. So if he wants to sell those pictures, like when you got started, you created this whole thing where you'd shoot the band, but you sold prints.
Yeah, I worked with them on that, actually.
But you were able to do that because you owned the copyright.
Yeah.
So just retaining your copyright is absolutely key. That's why I don't care how bad, to me at least, I don't care how bad you want to photograph a band. If the photo release is we own the copyright, I won't sign it.
Steve, want to know a crazy number?
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about Smugmon before this. We both use Smugmon. Smugmon has automatic fulfillment. I really took advantage of it when I was selling prints. Guess how many prints I've sold on Smugmon? I'm going to tell you the answer. You don't have to guess.
Okay.
Well, you can actually, guess. Guess a number.
Over how many years?
I haven't sold prints on there for like 8 years.
But you sold it for a while.
It was I would say over it was over a course of 2 or 3 years.
Okay, I would guess 5. Oh man, this is dangerous. 5,
I'm not gonna be offended. Well,
5,000?
All right, if I give you this other information, you'll guess. I think I did sales where there was like $1 really small prints you could buy, just for fun. And I wouldn't make
Oh.
any. I would make like no money. It was just fun.
You were just okay.
We were just seeing how many we could get out in people's hands.
Evan said 2 million.
Evan, you're banned. Just kidding.
By the way, Evan reached out to me privately asking about his website, and I hope that
Oh,
when I
yes.
sent it back helped him.
Heck yeah. So yeah, he asked me to connect him, and I didn't. But I said, hit him up. He'll talk to you.
I don't know how many.
I think it's 65,000.
Wow.
But I have to check. But it was pretty funny. And keep in mind, I did not make much money at all off the majority of those. It was like it was really funny. But what was I gonna say? Yeah,
PQ
I own the
said
copyright.
1 billion. 1 billion.
1 billion. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was back at the time when the bands I was working for were quite popular, and they were promoting the prints, and we were selling them like day after. And it was people buying like memories from the show, or people buying like photos for their binder at school. It was not like hey, each one of these prints cost $1,000 or something like that.
Okay, so reverse interview now.
Yeah.
How
I made
did
it
you
about
work that-
myself. I'm sorry. I'm not a bad guy.
How did you work that out with the band though? Because that's actually a key thing. How did you approach a band and go, I want to sell prints? There are band management out there that would say, that's fine, I want 50% or I want 70%. How did you
I got
how did
yelled
you
at one time
calculate
by
that?
a band manager. He yelled at me at
You
Warped
what?
Tour. A manager yelled at me at Warped Tour. I won't name names, but he came up to me. He's like, "You got to stop selling prints of my artist. Stop it!" And I don't know. The band was like, it was in front of the band, and I was like, "Okay, that's fine. I'll stop doing that." But it was like agreed upon with the band. But then the manager's in place to like lay down the law, so they had to
Right.
do it. But I was like, "Okay, the band requested it." It was pretty funny, and I was like, "Yeah, we don't have to do it. I mean, I don't. It's whatever. It was an agreement."
But for bands that you did work that out,
Yeah.
that had a manager,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
big names that I'm thinking of in my head.
Yeah. The main
How
ones
d-
I worked
how
with
did
were Of Mice and Men, All Time Low, Pierce the Veil, A Day to Remember, Sleeping with
Okay,
Sirens.
so how they've got managers.
Yeah.
How do you work? How do you navigate that?
Well, when I was touring, dude, it was like nobody was on tour with bands yet. Like, I was literally bouncing around to all these bands because nobody had photographers. And I would just be like, hey, I will come on tour with you. You don't have to pay me, because the amount of money they would pay me was not an amount of money I would want to go on tour for. They were trying to pay me like a regular crew member, which is fine, but I wanted to get paid more. And I was like, look, I will create this source of income. All you have to use is your clout or your social media presence. You guys just have to do basically sponsor posts for these prints. And so what I'd do is I'd go out, I'd shoot some group photos the first day of tour, I'd order those prints, they'd send them to me on tour from Smugmon, and then I'd have the band sign them or whatever, and I would, just for fun, and I would post like, hey, you can buy this print on Smugmon now. And I'd post the blogs, and you can buy the prints on there. And then the band would post and say, hey, we're selling these prints from each show. And that's kind of how it worked. And then initially when I was working with these bands, I'd be like, if we make over X amount, like let's pick an amount. Let's say I was on tour for 5 weeks and I wanted to make $1,500 a week, and so 5 times 1,500 is what? I don't know, 6, 7, 7,500. So let's say make over. Is that math wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay, 7,500. Let's say you make over 7,500, then that money you make would then pool back into the band. So like if I make an amount more than what we discussed I want to pay, like I feel, then that amount of money would go back to the band. However, the bands never really cared. They would just be like, okay, it's not like I was making $200,000 or something, but it was
Right.
it was not a lot over that amount to where they'd be like this. So then I would just hit bands up and be like, hey, can I come on tour, pay for my ticket, treat me like a crew member, put me on the band bus, I'll come out and then I'll do my thing, and they didn't have to worry about finding extra money in their budget or whatever too.
You financed yourself basically.
Yeah, it was really fun, and at that time it worked. I don't know if it really works anymore, just because there's so many photographers, and it doesn't. But at the time it was fun, and I'll have you know, when we started doing the Instagram stuff, one of the parts of the agreement was they have to credit me on Instagram, and that's when that is when Instagram credits started. So before that, it wasn't normal to be credited on Instagram, but it also wasn't normal to have a photographer out with you shooting
Right.
daily content. It used to be like we'd shoot, and then we give them the photos whenever, and they just post them on their MySpace or some.
See, but that same type of logic doesn't have to just work for a band. That same type of logic can work for shooting for a Live Nation venue, shooting for whatever, shooting for, local venue X.
Yeah.
You can take that same type of logic and here's my thing. Everybody shoots for free at some point or another, and I don't have a problem with it. But also everybody has to understand what their value is and try and my thing is charge something for an image. If you're going to charge $25, charge $25. But like for you, when you said they were going to pay me an amount to go on tour that I wouldn't have wanted to go on tour for, it's important to understand that your pictures last longer than some of what some other tour members do, right? They can be used for marketing for a full year, even if you only do 3 shows. You got to understand the value of the product that you're doing and get paid for it if you can.
Yeah.
That's the lesson out of that to me.
Yeah. I think the difference between the band and management is that, like, once you're okay with the band and the manager, that's all there is. And it's really once you're okay with the band and the manager goes, okay, that makes sense business-wise, because the manager is the band. They're not like, there's never something a manager says that the band did okay. They don't, like, make their own rules up. It's all coming from the boss. But, yeah,
Right.
that's what up, Sydney? Welcome back. But, yeah, I guess
Sydney.
that's the vibe. Sorry to talk fast, but...
And Odin's in here, too.
What up, Odin? Odin's been here. Thanks, Odin. That's very kind of you. I don't know about that, but... Yeah, that was an interesting time. All right, what's going on? Hello, Steady Focus here.
Yeah, see, and this community is a good thing. When I started shooting house for the casino, it was a big deal to me that I had people like Alan Hess and like you that I could reach out to, ask questions of. Paulie Bear is another one, a photographer out of LA, used to be the house photographer for the old LA Forum. And ask questions, and inevitably, the answers aren't going to fit my scenario, but it's pieces that you can put together to figure out what path works for you.
Yeah, no, I vibe. Well, I'm sorry I took 10 minutes of your interview riffing on other stuff.
No, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, but...
What else can we talk about?
I don't know. We're 30 minutes in. It's usually when we jump to talking about your photo.
Can do that if you want to.
You talk about your photo?
Yeah, you want to edit?
No, we just talk about it first, right?
Okay.
Behind the shot.tv.
We can do behind the shot.tv too.
That's what
behind the shot.tv is my podcast, Behind the Shot. And actually, I'm nervous about tomorrow. I have, Canon did all their new announcements, the R5, the R6, the RF lenses. And I did my most recent episode is with a guy by the name of Rick Salmon. He's a Canon Explorer of Light. And it's all stuff that he shot with the R6 and big lenses. But tomorrow, I'm getting a guy from Canon on. He's a technical guy at Canon, a guy by the name of Drew McCallum. 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm streaming live a technical Q&A with Canon on the new cameras.
That'll be good.
I'm actually excited about that. That's going to be fun.
Go listen to Steve, hang out with him. You can see him
10 a.m.
run the
tomorrow,
show.
Behind the Shot on YouTube with Canon.
But what I was really saying is behind the shot is what we usually call this section when we go behind your photos.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And I want to go behind your shot. But also, I'm happy you added that in because we talked about it before going live, and it's an important thing.
Let me share a screen. Oh, I can't share a screen.
Why not? Oh, I got to turn it on.
Yeah.
Okay, go. Let me make sure.
So, I don't know if anybody here has ever shot Cage the Elephant before. But you've shot him, right?
I shot him this year. No, well, last year. I've shot him a few times, yes.
Cage the Elephant is one of those bands. Let me just put this full screen and it'll make it easier.
Wait, I'm trying to make sure this looks good. It's just lagging so much. Oh yeah, this looks good. It went full screen for a second. But yeah, this is good.
I just made it full screen instead of since we're not editing it.
No, you're good.
So Cage the Elephant was a weird thing. It was at Cal Jam, which is a festival that was put on by Foo Fighters. And I knew Cage the Elephant. We play him on the radio. Okay, cool. Sitting backstage, they put a release in front of us. It was the only band of the show that had a release. Mm-hmm. And I'm reading this release, and I actually had to look at somebody else and go, are you reading this the same way as me? All the release basically said was, you are allowed to photograph the entire set, no problem, but you're waiving any responsibility if you get hurt.
That's lovely.
And I kind of read it twice going, I've never seen anything like this, but yes, please, I'll shoot your whole set. Mm-hmm. And I had actually considered not photographing the band. But I tend to shoot every band, every opener, because to me, some of the bands lower on the bill are some of the best photo opportunities. These are people that are super hungry to make it big.
And they look awesome.
Those are the best photo opportunities. So I go and I shoot the band. We get the whole set. In fact, one of the shots from this show we used in one of your magazines.
Oh, yeah.
And
Proud one.
It's the weirdest, most amazing performance, hands down. Now my favorite band to photograph. Them and Korn are my two favorite bands, and Rob Zombie too. My favorite bands to photograph. He starts in a full suit, and then like after a couple songs he takes off the jacket, and after a couple songs he takes off the shirt, and after a couple songs he takes off the pants, and here he's got nothing but pantyhose on.
Dude, yeah, when I saw him, he did some crazy stuff too. He was wearing like a scuba mask or something, or a gas mask, and
yes,
he couldn't even move around in his outfit. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
And he spends like 30% of the show off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
He runs from one side of the stage to the other, and every time he's running, he leaps in the air and flies about 15 feet.
And they're I feel like they're like a band like the Killers. Like, they're on their way to become like a real band. I don't know how to explain that. Like, they are a real band, but they're on their way to become a band that's just like, oh, KG Elephant, they're going to be headlining festivals for the rest of their lives.
And like the Killers, their following is their following, right? I mean, their following loves them.
Yeah.
But if you ever, I cannot stress it enough, if you ever get the chance to photograph Cage the Elephant, you've got to do it. Two of the guys in the band are brothers, and the lighting here isn't really even indicative of the show. Most of the show was very, very well lit with white spots. It wasn't red. This one was a challenging, point in the show when it was all red.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing about the show was when I said he was in the air a lot, he was also in the audience a lot. So I happened to see him jump out into the audience. And I'm a stickler for rules. I don't get on the barricade. I don't stand on the barricade. You're not supposed to stand on the barricade.
Oh, I bet the chat.
And everybody would climb up on the barricades around him. And I'd be like, oh, man, come on.
Yeah.
So I back up. He did it again. Same thing happened. Did it 3 times. And I missed it because everybody jumped up there. And finally I went, you know what? Nobody's yelling at anybody. There's record people and promotion people in the pit. Nobody's getting yelled at. So I watched him. I knew he was going to do it again. He jumped up on the barricade. I climbed up on the barricade, got the shot that we used in your magazine. And then I immediately got tapped on the shoulder and told, get down. And then backstage,
you're like, I don't know.
Yelled at.
You're like, I don't know who you are.
If you guys climb on the barricade again, you're going home. I'm like, oh man, now it's all my fault.
You just be like, I don't know who you are. Why are you telling me this?
It was so weird.
You tell me, no, I'm in charge.
This shot,
I'm just kidding.
And I don't know about you. I turn a lot of red into black and white, which a lot of people did on this edit.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes though, I like red.
Oh, it's a nice red.
Sometimes I feel, and this is a nice red. It's got a little too much magenta for me, but I like the color on him is nice, and he's got white on the left side of his face, right side of his face. But here's an interesting thing for me on this shot. I would not use this shot in my normal photojournalism role. So there's too much background crap with the spotlight in the bottom for me to put this on the radio station.
Oh, those are editable.
Well, but there's the thing. For me, photojournalism, I don't remove things.
Oh.
But when I was shooting for House, or when I licensed just to an artist, it's a totally different use, right? The House may want to take this shot, frame him on the right, and put text in that red area on the left. It's a marketing shot. It's not photojournalism.
What if you add things?
No problem removing.
That remove things. What if you add things that hide things?
Yeah, you could do that. Like you could put an elephant down there in front of the light.
What if you? I don't know. I mean, it's never really removing, right? You're always just adding things over them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to stay pretty photojournalistic with the stuff on the radio station
blog.
Yeah,
that's great.
But for the band or for the venue, I would have no problem going in and cloning a ton of crap out of this one.
No, that makes sense.
What I liked about this shot is he's looking right at the camera almost. I can see, I don't like mic nose or mic mouth. I can see a little corner of his mouth.
What are those? In front of him? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I like to see at least a corner of a mouth. I like to see part of the nose, if I can. I like to see both eyes if I can. And in this case, again, the pantyhose is such a weird element that this picture has a story to it. People wonder, why is a guy on microphone in red light, wearing pantyhose with a belt.
And he's got veins the size of veins.
Yeah, the dude's in shape. The dude is seriously in shape.
Yeah. I think, dude,
Yeah.
he's nuts. Yeah, I think when I saw him at it looks great, Steve, and I like the wash of the color. I think the wash is really nice. It allows for really nice editing, as we saw with people.
And that's the other thing. You'll appreciate this based on what the type of stuff you shoot too.
Mhm.
For me, this was a hard show because there was a lot of those spotlights in the back. There was a lot of landing lights.
Is he working
So-
for some pantyhose?
There was a lot of times where getting exposure on this show was tough, and this threaded the needle I wanted. There's a little blown out area on his shoulder, but it's not so blown out it's not recoverable.
Yeah, that looks just over. Yeah, you're good.
You know, I got it kind of in the middle where I can recover the highlights but recover the darks. For red, which is tough, I was happy with where this went.
Dude, I think, now that you're saying this, I remember seeing him actually at a Winnie Roast, and I think he started by saying, like, I haven't slept in 36 hours, or something like that.
Really?
It was just like he said some nut stuff and then just went crazy, and I was like, this guy's on one.
Yeah. It's just, he's so dynamic on stage. I want to photograph them again really bad.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for letting everybody edit this. And I want you to photograph them again. They're fun. They're the kind of people that, they remind me of like a much bigger Let Live or somebody like that, where they're just absolutely nuts. And
that's a good comparison. He moves like Jason.
Yeah. His stages
from
are
Let Live.
His stages are a bit bigger, and I think that it really shows. It's hard to he's a good singer too. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, I didn't know a lot of their songs other than what I play on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
It was a phenomenal show. I mean, they sound amazing live.
Thanks, Ed, for the sub. Let's go. That's people subbing. Yeah, they do sound very good live. I've actually heard songs of theirs, and I've been like, this is them? I thought this was like a really legendary song that's just ingrained in my head, and I didn't realize this Cage the Elephant I just think of as a new band, and they're not.
Yeah, they've been around forever.
It's like 12 years. Dude, this isn't meant to be a sweet brag. This is just, there's just like a timeline of every band in my head. And Cage the Elephant, I have this photo of them doing a photo shoot at Bamboozle when they played in 2008 because I assisted my friend Keaton. I think he used my gear, then I used his gear, whatever, at Bamboozle, and I have a photo of him. I was like, who is this band? I guess I'll take a photo. I've never heard of them. And that was like their conception. That was when they started. And I was trying to find the photo.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is. It's probably in a blog somewhere, but I thought that was so
And the whole
funny.
band, I've got shots in my portfolio of his brother, Matt Schultz's brother, in the audience with his guitar, leaning back. And it was one of those where everybody with cameras gathered around and held their cameras up in the air.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, screw it. I'm going to use that as the composition. I actually intentionally used the cameras surrounding him to kind of tell the story. But they're such an easy band to photograph. They give you everything you want.
Yeah, they are good. Yeah, what a dream. I'm glad we came upon this images. Steve sent like 12 images in, and we decided on this one, and I'm happy we did, because it's
I was surprised you picked this one, by the way. I thought you'd pick the one for Avatar, the fisheye.
It's too much stuff getting lost in the sauce. You know what I mean? It's just like too much stuff. Well, I want a photo that's easily recognizable when people look at it. You know what I mean? Like this to me.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, and when you picked this one, the first thought that hit me was, well, it is raw editing challenge, and this is red.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
It's the challenge. Somebody asked how long Cage the Elephant has been around, and it looks like 2006. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's
a little bit of time.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Let me think. What else I can ask about this shot? Where'd you shoot this shot? Cal Jam, right?
Cal Jam, which was at
San Bernardino.
San Bernardino, California. Cal Jam 2017.
That's a good venue to shoot at. I like that venue. What do you think about it?
Yes.
What do you think about it?
It's San Manuel Amphitheater, and they bought the naming rights. Actually, they changed the naming rights now, but the casino I used to shoot for had the naming rights. And it's a really nightmare venue parking wise as a attendee, as a ticket holder, but photographically it's a great venue. You and I shot was it Knotfest there that you
Yeah, I
came
shot
back and shot?
Knotfest. It was the one with like Bring Me, Them,
Yeah,
somebody else, Corn. I don't know who else was on it.
It's a great venue. Stage is a perfect height. The tier is really nice, and Knotfest puts up their Slipknot puts up the Ferris wheel, and
Didn't
they've got a
Slipknot
huge
try to
area
make it
of their
like
stages.
try to make it smell like rotting flesh and got in trouble for it? And they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's a good venue. If you ever get a chance, it's definitely San Bernardino, California. What else do you want to ask?
Why this photo, Steve? No, I'm just kidding. I know I picked it. What else do I want to say about this? Is there anything that bothers you? I know we're gonna edit it soon, but is there anything that bothers you off this photo that every time you look at it unedited, you're like, why is that? Like, would you edit any of that stuff out?
I like to get composition. When I shoot, I actually have a composition in my head. So when I frame somebody through my lens, I am aware of everything that's behind them. I'm aware if a mic stand or a guitar is intersecting with them. I'm aware where the open spaces or black spaces are. Like if you look here, it is not an accident that his head is between those two little lights. So I was aware that I didn't want those lights to touch his hair. Didn't know necessarily that I would want to keep them centered on him, but I didn't want anything intersecting him. But the way that I move my focus points, I wish I had his whole hand down at the bottom. It really bugs me every time that his hand is cut off.
I love the way you move your focus points, Steve.
Yeah. And the other thing is I've got him way too close to center, and I would normally frame him where I would probably crop it. So normally in my frame, he'd be farther on the right, and I'd have more room on the left, but it is what it is. Again, he moves at like 400 miles an hour. So
are we going to be editing like you're a journalist or editing like it's your portfolio? Also, what up? Okay, what up, Marissa? What up, Badilloff? I don't know how to say it.
PQ said,
and Falcone.
Steve,
what up, Falcone?
So you don't spray and pray? How do you plan it out? Do you watch videos of their past performances? Yeah, I research bands as best as I can. I'll watch YouTube. I tend to look at pictures more than videos. I generally, when I research somebody, I don't know if anybody else does this. I focus very heavily on, do they always hold the mic in the same hand?
Oh yeah, where are they going to do? What way do they play the
Because
guitar?
if they're like this, I don't want to shoot from this side. I want to shoot from this side. So I tend to look at pictures and really pay attention to, do they always hold the mic in one hand? If they're a guitarist that stands at a mic and sings, like Dave Grohl, some guitarists, if the mic is here, they will turn this way while they sing every time. Others will turn this way and look back over their back. And then you have to decide, do you want the front of the guitar? So I try and research that type of a thing, but no, I don't spray and pray. I do at most, any burst that I take is 3 shots, maybe 5. Yeah, I'm really protective of how many frames I take, to a detriment at times.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
What up, Josh? Yeah, you're intentional. But I think definitely
I'm very intentional. Yeah. Thomas Falcone, welcome.
I got a lot of good people here today. I feel like everybody here is like pretty active in chat too. And also, if you guys have any questions or whatever, it's just Steve and I today. I know sometimes we don't really answer stuff right away, and that's because, well, we have a guest on here and we need to treat them well. Yeah. And they're not always familiar with Twitch, so we usually do that just because. I mean, can you imagine if somebody asks you on your show and then as they're talking, you're like, oh, we have this thing. And you just like, it's a lot of things to introduce to somebody at once. So that's why, if you have questions right now, well, how many shots do you take a show?
Somebody said calculated, and then Connor said double tap. Yeah.
How many shots do you take per show?
It varies. Some bands I might take 100 if they're not real active and they're like an opening band. Headliners I might take 200 to 300.
I didn't mean to do
If
that.
I've got a whole show, like at the end of a festival, at the end of an all-day festival, I might have, shot 10 to 15 bands, and I'll have 1,000 to 1,500 photos sometimes 2,000. But if I'm actually shooting an entire show, I might have, 500, 600, 700 of a band. But then what I post on the radio station, I post maybe 20.
No, you post all of them.
Yeah, I do a dump on Instagram.
Yeah.
All in the same post saying scroll right.
And then you upload them to Flickr. And then and then make a slideshow and you put it on Facebook.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And MySpace.
Yes, I love it. Cool. You want
Connor
to?
asked a question. Steve, what do you look for when framing up a shot? I want to hear Adam's answer on this one too. For me, I firmly believe in traditional composition, right? Rule of thirds matter. There's a rule called rule of odds, which is where you have an odd number of things. Like if you're shooting telephone poles, you wouldn't do 2 telephone poles, you'd do 3. Excuse me. And so for me, rule of odds matters. So I might try and get 3 band members, but a lot of times it's me looking at my rule of thirds, where I want the eye line at. I'm always aware that to me, an instrument is an extension of a musician's body. So I try really hard. There's exceptions, and don't misunderstand me. It works great, but I always try and keep a guitar head because it can matter. And I'll use the example actually of the band Korn. Brian Head Welch in Korn, actually on some of his guitars, it says head on his guitar stock. So I try and keep whole instruments. I try and prevent things from intersecting people in a bad spot. And most importantly, this is an old thing I heard from Zach Arias, and it's a quote I remember and I'll never forget: head in a clean spot. I'm always aware I want their head in a clean spot.
I like that. Head in a clean spot is good. Yo, rule of odds. I'm just reading all the comments. You want to sort through those? My answer for that is I really feel it. I don't know. I feel like it's been 10 years of practicing and then forgetting about every rule I learned and then just feeling those rules as they come out live. So I'd really have to like shoot a live show and pay attention to it. But my stuff, basically, I want it to look like a painting. Like somebody was like, hey, I want all this right here.
And what's interesting is your shots do tend to follow those. And paintings follow those. I mean, the reason these composition rules exist is because the masters in painting did them. Rembrandt lighting came from painters. It's all that type of thing. Odin actually said, because I missed the hand, would I recommend cropping it? That's a good question. The only thing I say on cropping,
I think that's a good crop.
I don't mind this because of where it is. It's in between his one knuckle and his middle knuckle. It's not uncomfortable. Yep. What you want to avoid is cropping a limb where there's a joint, because it looks like an amputation instead of a crop. So generally you want to crop between joints.
No, that makes sense. I agree with that too. And there's always exceptions to all these rules, by the way. It's just, you really just, I mean, Steve, you could probably agree with me. You crop it and you look at it, and if it looks weird or it looks like it distracts you from the image, then it's fine. But honestly, this one off the bat isn't distracting to me. It looks good on this crop. I like it. I'm excited to see how you edit it, but I really do like this. I think it looks good.
Yeah, I don't mind the crop on this. And what's funny is sometimes you just go cropping and you're like that. And by the way,
I just go cropping sometimes.
I'm not a stickler for standard ratios.
What's that?
In
like
Lightroom, I turn that lock off and I crop whatever the picture calls out to me.
Yeah. Although when you do set up your photos for print, it's just annoying. You're like, oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
But I do.
Germ Music said rule of odds is really a thing. Yes, rule of odds is a thing.
It's a thing, man. It's a thing.
And if you go look at some pictures, if you Google rule of odds, you'll kind of understand it better. But it actually, most of these things exist because they over centuries have proven to be more comfortable on the human eye. Adam, bring back your "Don't Make Me Crop You" merch. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, well, you guys are two of only people. The only people. I don't have enough.
Everybody in this room would buy those.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'll make 30, and then you guys better buy them or stop Twitch. Yeah, I like that merch. It's fun. We can make throwback merch, please. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Steve, Zach Arias tweeted us one time on one of our tweet streams. I don't know what it was about, but I freaked out. I was like, "Oh, Zach Arias? This guy's like a legend." I wonder if he'd do this sometime. We should hit him up.
Oh, dude, I would love. I don't know that he would. I've tried to get him on Behind the Shot. I haven't been able to, and I know a bunch of people who know him. But
yeah, one of my
the reason I like Zach Arias, you already knew lighting, but because you did. That's the other cool thing about doing tours. You get to do portrait stuff.
Oh yeah.
Three from the Pit, I rarely get to shoot a band, in that kind of portrait environment. So when I wanted to learn more lighting, I watched his One Light video by Zach Arias.
Yeah.
And it's the it was the one time that literally a freaking light bulb went off that I understood lighting.
Yeah.
Because of that video. He presented it in a way like the old saying is, your shutter speed will adjust your ambient light mostly. Your aperture will adjust your flash exposure mostly. And I didn't even understand why that was made sense until A, I sat down and kind of analyzed it, and B, I watched him present it with one flash shining on a brick wall.
Is that video public or is that by thing?
It's on sale right now for $5, I think, on his site.
Connor, his Dead Pixel, Zach Arias. Can you find his One Light thing just if people want to check it out? Or
yeah, and I own both the One Light 1 and One Light version 2. The One Light 1 is actually better to me.
There you go.
But yeah, it was just eye-opening when I saw what he did with the light on the brick wall, and I was like, oh damn.
Yo, can you tell that the moderators, I only actually moderate people who like to talk?
Yeah.
Captain Linkzanya. Now look at them all go. Yeah, we got a lot of moderators now because, well, there's a lot of people working on stuff, which is awesome.
And now that we mentioned Zach on here, maybe he'll come on.
Yeah, let's go, Zach. I'm trying to get like some good people. Yo, if you guys came on Thursday, I just want to say last Thursday's chat was amazing. If you get a chance, check it out. There was 5 amazing photographers on there. They said a lot of things that I learned from. So I hope that, but it's up on photoghang.com. And I think this week will be good. I need to hear back from some people, but I'm trying to pull for some people that are a little bit of a reach away. So we'll see what we can do. Yeah, everybody say thanks to our mods. We got Parker, Marissa, Bryn, and Connor. I think that's our mod crew. Yeah.
And by the way, yes, I'm there now. One Light 1 version 1 is $5. I just posted it in the chat. And the bundle comes with the booklet that goes with it, and that's $10. One Light 2 is $5. Yeah, there's a bunch of sales.
What did Connor just post? I think Connor might have just posted a link to it.
That's a YouTube link.
Connor, that's the wrong week, Connor. You got the wrong week, but it's okay. That one's good too. What was I gonna say? Steve, edit this. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So
you're up. You're live. I'll make you bigger though.
All right. So like I said before, if I was doing this photojournalistically, I tend to treat it pretty simple, and I start usually with just a white balance. And in this case, there's nothing clearly like. One thing I love is when mics have white tape around them, because I can usually white balance on that. It's close to their face. Here, I'll zoom in, make it easier. Here, I'd probably use the white of his eye, like right there. And once I get a white balance close, I don't care that it completely corrects the color. At that point, I'll usually go into crop, because that's really where I see if there's a picture or not. And one of the things that bugs me is that this is crooked. So even if I'm going to remove those lights, the little lights at the top kind of give me also a sense of the amps in the background. And I just kind of get it level. This is the OCD in me.
Sorry, I just banned Connor for fun.
Did you really?
Well, I just gave him a timeout. I gotta put him back now. But I timed him out, and I think it removed everything he wrote, which I didn't mean to do.
I wish we had video of his face when you did that.
Wait, so Steve, I wasn't paying attention.
That's right.
Let me remod him.
You don't need to. This is better.
It also unmods him and deletes everything. Yeah.
Hey, Connor, we miss you, man. Connor's scared.
It removed everything he said. All right, dang. Sorry about that link, guys.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, keep going, Steve.
That is so funny. So I'd kind of level out those lights at the top, kind of crop it about like this, get him a little bit more towards the right side of the frame. Pretty much happy there. And then I'd probably pull out the magenta in his face. And if you don't use it, this little selection tool is the best editing tool on earth. And I just grab it next to saturation, because then you can kind of point, you can watch what's highlighting. There's actually blue in there too, which is interesting. But if in this case, I would probably just pull all the magenta out so that it's more red. I'm going to leave the blue because I'm going to use that for something to show you later that I do. I would turn on profile correction. And the reason is I don't do this for every shot, but he looks kind of hunched over that way, and he pops out a little bit this way, which I think is a better look for him. And I usually do profile correction. Anything else I usually do, but some shots.
So you start with the crop. Wait, Steve, we skipped
I
a
already
step.
did the crop.
I know, but I'm saying we skipped a step. You got to talk about when you look at this photo, what you see, and like what you feel, and why before you do the things you do. You know what I mean?
Reset.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. Like we could do that part
have
real
a reset
fast.
button. Okay.
It was my fault. I
So
was
for me,
banning
here's what I
Connor.
see.
It's my fault. It's my fault. Yeah.
That's all right. I got distracted.
Yeah.
Here's what I see when I look at this shot. First of all, the fact that he's looking straight at me pretty much,
Yeah.
as far as anybody can quickly tell. I want to kind of emphasize that. I want to put him in a place in the frame. Notice he's leaning to the left of the frame. So I want more room on the left of him than I do on the right of him. I want him to have kind of room to lean into. The other thing is I look at the smoke, and I like the fact that the smoke goes higher up on his right side and down on the left side, and I would kind of use that in the composition.
High up on his right, meaning like the right of the photo if we're looking at it?
Yeah, he's leaning towards the spotlight, so frame left, our view left. He's leaning to his right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Leaning to our left, and so I would want more room on our left of him than our right of him.
Okay.
So let me first of all just kind of correct the color.
Yeah, the smoke. Odin's right. The smoke fade is good.
Yeah, the smoke fade being at an angle, I like because it goes all the way to the bottom left of the frame and up to, again, a rule of thirds. So let me go back. White balance is I. Right about there. That does quick. Again, I don't like that it's off kilter because if I end up leaving those amps in the back, they're crooked, and that bothers me. And so I'll usually use the lights because truss is pretty much level. So any lighting that I see on a truss, I know I can level off of it because they need it to stay up and not fall down. So now I've got him. If you look where he's at, and here's one of the other things I do, and I think you and I have talked about this before, Adam, but if you hit the O key, you can change the overlay. So look at how these lines line up.
I love that stuff. That's cool.
Notice it goes almost right across his eyebrows and right under the mic. This one, notice he's just a little off center to the right, and that one, it lines right up across his shoulders almost. So I'll usually kind of just jump through and make sure that I kind of fit a layout that I want, almost graphic design wise. And there's that. Before I do anything up here, I'm going to go back because I didn't do it before. And I'm going to pull that magenta out. And again, you can do it with the target adjustment tool if you want to. Just find the magenta and wait until it highlights it. But in this case, I'm just going to drag it because I know I want that up. And that kind of pops the red a little bit more. There's some blue in here too, which I don't like, but I'm going to remove that differently. Last but not least would be this panel up here. And I tend to like to, the basic panel.
Oh, there we go.
I tend to like to see what Lightroom is going to do. If it does it automatically, it rarely gets it right. But one thing I love is auto adjusting my blacks. One thing I'm not a fan of is, you have 0 to 255 in each color.
Mm-hmm.
And in your luminance from white to black. White is 255, pure black is 0. And a lot of shots like this has no pure black in it. If you really look at the histogram, it's just where the black isn't what I want. If you hold the shift key down and double click the word black, it'll auto adjust the blacks for you. Same with the whites, same with the shadows. In this case, I'll do the shadows.
I threw us off the screen, Steve. I just made it your editing screen, so it's bigger.
That's fine. So I'd kind of open that up a little bit. I do the same with contrast, see what it wants for contrast, and I'm pretty happy with that right there. The only thing I would probably do is I'd probably bring the highlights down to save that shoulder. I'd see what Lightroom does. I'm not unhappy with that.
Are we getting rid of that yellow light on the left? I hope we're getting rid of it. Oh my god.
Yeah, we are. I won't do that in here. I'll do it in Photoshop.
Why, Steve? I won't judge you. That's
You'll
fair.
see why.
I'm excited to see why. Yeah, let's go. I'm ready to learn today. I'm ready to learn.
I'd probably on this shot, and this is only because I think it pops him a little bit more. I'd probably do, a little bit of dehaze, maybe 5 on clarity, maybe 10 on dehaze. I don't actually mind that too much. And if I was doing this photojournalism wise, that edit would almost be done, except yes, I would probably do this right here and get rid of that bad boy.
That's out of there. Oh my god.
But it didn't do a very good job on it in here.
It's okay. That'll be easier to content aware out if it's just a black blob.
Oh no, not the way I'm going to do it.
Oh,
so the last thing I would probably do actually is I do want those blacks at the bottom to pop a little bit more. So I'd pull my shadows down just a hair. And then I might even pull that up a little bit. And so now you've got, that's before, that's after. That's a little too much on the box. Hold on.
We could give him a third nipple.
He has 3. You just can't see it. It's behind the mic stand.
Oh. Wow.
See?
Steve, you're quick. No.
I was there. I was at the show, so I remember.
Oh, yeah,
I remember thinking to myself, how crazy.
Yeah.
Last thing I would probably do is I would do some focusing, or I mean some sharpening. And if you hold the Option key down as you do this, or Option or Alt on a PC, you get a black and white, which is sometimes easier to sharpen off of. Right about there. And that's probably where I'd stop photojournalistically. So,
all right, we're getting the double.
Start.
We're getting the double take tonight.
That's the end. But here's where I would then take it into Photoshop, and I'm going to show you a trick for removing red.
I just pictured you doing something like a trick for removing red. I don't know.
This is actually, I learned this from Pix Imperfect or Pixel Imperfect. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's just a genius with Photoshop. And so here's what I would do. Let me close this little.
Nobody, PQ. Nobody did that other than me. PQ said, who else just Googled singer from KG Elephant third nipple?
Exactly.
Nobody else.
Nobody else. One of my favorite plugins for anything I'm going to do portfolio, I would do this, is in Color Effects Pro, there is one of the features called Pro Contrast. And it'll probably come up defaulting to it on here, because I use it all the time. So Pro Contrast has only 3 sliders, but this top slider is correct a color cast. And just from that slider, you can just pull out some of the red so that his skin gets closer. So if you watch, I don't know if this is going to come across the stream, but that's before, after. It's really subtle, but if you watch his chest and his stomach and his
I can't tell very well, but it's something.
Yeah.
These are deep.
You can also do dynamic contrast and regular contrast, which I probably would not do here. Actually, I don't mind the dynamic contrast right now. So I don't mind that.
I do love Nick software.
I love this.
Of course, nice, Rose. Welcome. What up, little brights?
That's subtle.
If there's anybody's name who I say wrong consistently, correct me, and I'll remember for at least the next 5 minutes, and eventually forever.
Do that there. And once this is done processing, is when I would probably actually I'm gonna do one other thing. I'm gonna clone everything, and then I'll show you my color correction thing.
All right, sounds good to me.
Thank you, little brights. Appreciate it. Is it done processing? Yeah, I think it is. Okay. So at this point, I would start cloning everything, and I would probably duplicate my layer to do it, just so I don't screw anything up. And for these, I would probably just use the spot healing tool. Zoom that in so it fills up a little bit more. Boom. Oh, missed a little bit. And the nice thing is with smoke like this, the spot healing tool does wonders, but these ones next to his head, don't even try it. Won't work.
Just tell somebody not to try.
And then we've got this area down here. I would do before the spotlight.
Nice, Odin. I do love Nick software. I have some cool stuff.
And I'm just doing quick now, but I mean, you could take a ton of time here if you wanted. And then we will do this here. Probably will copy some of that spotlight. Yeah, it did. I don't like that. I'm going to do it. We'll do the spotlight first. And sometimes you got to go once or twice, which is fine. Just keep going over it, and sooner or later you'll get the blend that you want out of it.
Steve, I should have edited this image in. It looks so fun to edit.
It's actually this is a fun shot to play with.
Yeah, I should have edited it. Let me edit. Can I edit after you?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, wow.
Soften that out a little bit.
I'll have to go open up my software.
Okay, and when it starts freaking out like that, that's when I'll switch to this tool. Oh, my mouse is freaking out here. and I would go to the one that lets you. It's still a clone tool or still a automatic tool, but you can source.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of source from up here, a little bit bigger brush, and then just
Pretty
do. The nice thing about a big brush is you get a softer edge out of it. So I'd kind of like source from up here and kind of do that, and just kind of smooth out the smoke a little bit down there. Check this side, not too bad, and then that's where this comes in. Is I would make this small and I would source it over here, because if you use the automatic one, it's going to pull his hair.
You do not want to pull somebody's hair.
No, he gets mad when you pull his hair.
Yeah. Marissa, what is up with your quotes? Marissa says,
Okay,
I wish I
so
could
at
clone
that
stamp
point-
and Band-Aid healing all of life's problems.
Yeah, it's the greatest tool. So that's pretty much cloned out to where I would leave it. And the last thing I would do is, and this is a trick I learned from our buddy Alan Hess, actually.
All right.
This is actually my favorite editing trick.
Even more than clarity?
Yeah, this thing is just, it doesn't always work, but the nice thing is you got it on a layer. So all you normally do is come into Nick Silver FX Pro, choose, I think it's the 6th one down or whatever it is, 7th one down, high structure smooth. Doesn't matter if you like it, although you can tweak it a little bit if you want to. Like, I don't like grain too much.
Let's set a blend layer on this.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the blend.
I'm about to get freaky. Are you sharpening with this?
It's kind of like a sharpening, but it's really controllable. I'm wondering if fine art might be a better filter here. Let me find fine art.
Everybody's saying forget color, Steve. You went black and white. It's really hard once you see an image in black and white to go back to color.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna stay with that.
This image looks classic. Oh yeah, that's a little bit too dark.
Yeah, that's definitely too dark. But watch this. And by the way, the other thing in here is I actually like the like selenium type blue tone that you can get out of it, like that. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do it here, but I do like it. Oops, I accidentally chose minority. Okay. So once you do this, here's the trick. Go in and just choose high structure smooth. When it's done processing, why didn't it put that on a layer? What is it doing? Well, that's really weird.
Yo, Steve, I'm having deja vu of you doing this.
What's that?
It's when like a moment's happening that you feel like it already happened as it's happening, and I feel like this moment.
Yeah, really. For some reason, I did that and saved it, and it didn't take it. Let me do it again, see if it works. I don't know why that's not editing. Let me save it and reopen it. That's weird. Hold on. I don't want to start over, so I'm just going to redo it.
Story of my life.
Yeah, Photoshop 2020, I have a lot of bugs with. Let's go there.
It's kind of like our world right now.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah, a lot of bugs. A lot of Rona.
Up. Here we go. All right, so now let me try it one more time and see if I can get my Silver FX Pro to hold.
Yo, guys, you can...
And again, the normal one would just be choose high structure smooth.
I hope the mods aren't scaring anybody away. They're just talkative because they're excited. They're...
There we go. Now it's processing.
Social by
okay, when this
nature.
is done processing, watch what it does. So you'll get the black and white. Nice thing is you've got a black and white in your Photoshop file now, right? So you're good to go if you want the black and white. It's almost done processing now. I'm watching the thing.
It's okay.
But here's the trick. As soon as it's done, put it in luminance, in luminosity. And what you'll see is you get all the texture from the black and white. In this case, it's way too strong. That's okay. But it stays color. And then all you got to do is dial that down to like...
But do you know the hotkey for luminosity layer?
What is it?
I think it's Shift Option Y.
Interesting. Okay.
I think they're all letters, but I think that
what I would do then is I would I'd probably put this based on the smoke in the background, probably about 40%. I'd put a mask on it and I'd take it off of his face because I don't like his face getting weird.
Yeah. So do you don't want it more sharp is what you're saying? The face?
No, yeah, I want his face to stay normal, but I want it kind of on his tats and his hair.
You want it on it?
Hose.
Yeah, on all the other lines.
Yeah, exactly. Let me make that solid. There we go. Kind of take that out. So now it's not on his face so bad. And at this point, now I'm going to show you how I remove red. So I would do a stamp visible, which is on a Mac, it's Command-Option-Shift-E. And that stamps everything to one layer. And here's the trick that I learned from that guy. First of all, I'd select him as a subject because I only want to affect him. I want to pull the red out of him, but not the background. So I do select subject, and in this case, I bet you that the automatic stuff does really well, and it did. It selected him very, very well. And
wow, that was good.
Yeah, and
But
I would do this.
Partly because you have such a well-separated background.
He's separated really well. Go to hue saturation. It puts the mask on. So any changes I make, just to show you, I'll watch. Any changes I make are only going to affect him now. Right? And what I would do is, first of all, let's put that back at 0. I would grab this little selection tool, and I'd find an area on him that's red that I want to remove. So like up here in his forehead even is a good spot, or his cheek, or his chest. And I would click that. No, that's not really what I want. Let me find more red. There we go. That's probably good. What is it up here? Yeah. So notice it switched. Notice in the panel, the hue saturation panel, it switched to reds.
Red channels. Okay.
Okay. I would actually pull both of these.
Show us the magic.
You're going to see it right now. Watch. So you can actually adjust this red area down here. And I'm going to make it really crazy so that you can see it if I can. I can grab this and move it around to pick a different color that I want to adjust.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't use that bottom part, the middle part is the main and the side part is basically the fall off.
And the sides are a feather. So I would, let me back this up here. So I would choose a good red spot, like on his forehead. Like that. And then I would probably tighten it a little bit, which is the 2 inner bars. The outer bars are how feathered it is. And if you want to see it happen, you can, like I say, you can actually change the hue of these, and you can start seeing things change as you're doing it. But then here's what you do. All you have to do, once you've done that, and I'll do one really extreme to show you, is you can pull the saturation out of it. You can lighten it. And then I've got a little bit.
Is anything happening? Am I psycho? What's going on? Tell me what's happening, Steve.
Hold on, it's not. Let me do this again. Hold on one sec here. Reds.
Does anybody else ever stare at a photo and somebody's telling you what's going on and you're like, may start making it up?
Normally this works really quick.
No, I trust you.
So oh, hold on. For some reason that channel is off. There we go. I don't know how I turned that channel off. Sorry about that.
You found a hotkey you didn't know you had.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. I did not know that I did that. So let's go again. Put this back where it was.
We're doing it live.
Yeah, that was really weird, though. That was really, really weird.
Right now we have what's called selective coloring, which is one of my least favorite things people do to images.
Yeah, normally this is really fast, but Steve screwed it up.
Oh, man. Steve, you know what? I don't think we should have him on again.
There we go. Now you can see it. I had that layer turned off.
Okay,
so if you look, you can kind of see where it's changing it. And I can tighten that down to the reds that I want. And I can move it around where I want. And once I get the area selected based on that little pattern that you're seeing there, all you've got to do is lighten it a little bit, and the reds come out. And pull the saturation down a little bit, and his skin tones start coming back. And you can do the same thing. There are some blues in there. You can do the same thing in the blues. Pull that out, pull the saturation down. And so you've got before and after. And you can be really precise to get the coloring that you want.
So it's just what's that have to do with the? This is different than the layer. This is different than the black and white layer mask. But that was for sharpening.
Yeah.
Then you basically did a selection.
Yeah. So this is the before.
Yeah.
And if you do, the reason I selected him was so that it would only affect him. And if you do the hue saturation layer, this is like if you have people with blotchy skin, you can remove the red from their skin doing this. So if you just go in and you choose a red area like that, That's actually a blue area. I don't know how I turned that off the first time, and you can start to see
I
that's
don't know,
what
but
it selected.
we're about to watch
right
the
there.
replay of here and see where he went wrong.
See where it's selected? You see all that blotchiness?
Yeah.
That's what I can affect. And so you can now pull those colors out using lightness as much as you want. Just pull a little red out, pull a little saturation out. And so this is before. You can see it in his stomach and in his face. And you can get it out of there. I probably pulled too much out, but still.
See, I'm happy we did this image. You could do more freaky things with this.
Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff.
Loose
Like
on the
there's
goose.
blue in his cheek, and you can do the same thing. You can pull the blue out. And so the end result is, let me stamp this. Boom. The end result is, this is the original that I brought in here. That's the original. That's after. You can see the color leave out of his chest and then come back as you turn it on. And that's probably about where I'd stop right there.
Well, Steve, I think I'm going to start calling you, I don't know, what's the guy in the wheelchair that's bald? Professor X.
From X-Men?
Yeah. You just roll up, you do some mind tricks, the photo's good.
So that's the original, and that's probably about where I'd end up. And you can see, if you look like down in this area here, down by his stomach, you can really see the color correction part where the red comes out.
I don't know if we're all back on the screen yet. Are we on the screen? I hope we're somewhere close to being on the screen.
Yeah, we're still on.
Well, I just put our faces in.
And that's it.
Steve, I'm getting... All right, Steve, can I try to edit this photo? Not like just for the hell of it. Like,
do it.
Is there
I'm
anything?
dying to see what you
is
do
that-
out of it.
We'll call it a quick and dirty though.
Do it.
Maybe we could start doing this. Like maybe after, like I don't know if guests would be okay with it, but we just be like, all right, we want it. But the key thing is I haven't done it yet. So I just got the quick and dirty course from the masterclass from Steve himself. So it's kind of cheating.
Yeah, and again, that trick is designed like when you shoot somebody and they have blotchy red, you can easily pull out that blotchy red. It's not designed to do a whole body, and it's not a quick thing. That's why I wouldn't normally do it. I don't mind the red in this picture, but if you really wanted to color correct something, it's a great way to adjust a selected color.
I got
way
rid of,
better than curves.
Our visuals are off chat for a sec while I just pull this up, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like that. And the cool thing is like there's like 400 ways to do everything, right? There's so
Exactly.
many ways to do stuff. Let's see if I can do this without crashing my computer, because you know.
Parker just said, new stream idea: edit duels.
Oh, let's battle.
Dang, I love that.
Fight. You gotta. Do you have the ring? Do you have
Ladies and gentlemen?
Oh
now
yeah.
Adam L. Macias.
Yo, do you have the that sound effect board? No, you should have that, right? You do radio.
I do not.
Come on, Steve.
I'm stupid.
40
I have a stream deck, but nothing tied to it.
This guy's messing with us.
I'm a loser.
I'm turning it back on.
But I did get a bonus.
But our faces are off right now. I'm just editing without. Oh man, I have to do it like super small.
I don't see your screen at all, though.
I know. I just turned it back on. I turned it off so I could pull the image up without like accidentally pulling a bunch of other stuff up or something. Try to keep it. I was navigating all over my computer files, and you know I got top secret things in there.
We could have a mod tournament, and we could see which mod could ban the most people in 1 minute.
Wow. No, I mean after you do 41 people, we have nobody else here, so.
Yeah.
Let's make this smaller. What are we doing?
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are we doing, Steve?
Adam has now pulled up the raw image, and he's.
All right, I'm done. I don't know what to do.
He's resizing his Lightroom panel. He's in the basic panel at this point. He's gone to the exposure.
What are you?
He's gone to the exposure.
Steve. How do we? Why is this? What is going on here?
I have no clue, dude.
Oh man, somebody take Twitch away from us.
PQ Multimedia, enjoy your dinner, man. Connor said ban Adam.
I'll ban myself. I'll leave.
Actually, Marissa has a good idea. Set the clarity to 100 and dehaze to 0. Boom, done.
Oh my god. Sure. Right after that, I'll go do something else equally as weird. We'll just get rid of all these lights. Everything's gone, Steve. They also fired me from being a photojournalist.
So you would do this before you would crop?
I don't know, man. Are we cropping these days? Dude, I honestly, Steve, I love this photo without the crop. I think. Like, I like it. I gotta play around.
His look is so cool. You wonder what he's thinking as he's looking at you.
I feel like he doesn't think, he just feels.
Oh, I cannot stress enough what an amazing show it is.
Yeah, I agree. Cage Elephant. I tweeted them. I was like, "Hey, you guys want to come on the stream?" And I was like, pretty sure that somebody was just.
Did you really?
Well, I texted my friend who used to tour manage them, and I asked him. He's like, he says he doesn't know if like the band runs it themselves, but the way they were favoriting stuff, it seemed like it was like somebody they hired. So I was like, okay.
They were liking everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That like, it sounds like somebody's just being social. Is this too weird?
Marissa said, "Put your grain level to 100, export it, repeat 5 times until your grain's at 420."
Who made her a mod?
Don't know.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Great ideas.
Yeah.
Interesting. Using a gradient.
I don't know what to do, Steve. What do we do? Why does it do
That's
so
a good question.
Oh, am I in the wrong spot? Oh, yeah, I'm in the wrong spot. I have all my stuff collapsed so I can do it on here. And I feel like it... Can we add, like, color now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it gets freaky.
You can do hue saturation down there.
You didn't used to be able to do this, right?
Nope, not as a selection, no.
I like it now.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Somebody else added some blue in there, and it was really, really cool.
Is this blue? I want it to be red. I don't know, man. This is an image that I'd probably sit with and then like go to bed and wake up and do more. And where's the split toning? Let's get rid of it. There it is.
I love your new background, by the way, because you can read the chat on it.
Right? I think it looks cool. This image is hard to edit. Harder than I was expecting, to be honest. I like want this to match that. Do you ever just... At this point is usually where I give up.
Never give up, never surrender.
Right? What do you think about these blues that are on his chest? Like this blue light here? What do you think about this?
I don't mind that at all.
You like it? I thought you did a good...
Well, I think it changes the image a little bit, which is nice. I think it makes him stand out from the red background.
Yeah.
Which is why I was trying to minimize the reds on him so that he'd be a slightly different color than the red background.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do the third nipple.
Yeah.
Or take it out.
It was an accident. I've made a mistake. Perfect. I think that's a good spot.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'd go lower. I'd go below the mic stand.
Below, like down here?
Dead center below the mic stand.
Oh, I wish we could set a blending mode for it.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's going to be too light, though. Yeah, no blending mode.
Yeah, it's okay.
Opacity. You could do opacity.
Yeah, we'll make it right there. Okay, cool.
Change the opacity down.
Well, I want it to stand out.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I think the band would license that.
Yeah. I think they would. I think they'd use it, too. I mean, how could they not, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just radiates commercial use.
Yeah. Everything's accurate. Nothing's not accurate.
Parker said the band name can be Third Nipple Blind.
Oh, man. I need to go to sleep.
So you want to look at some submissions?
What? You weren't enjoying the super informational process? Educational process? I'm just kidding. Yeah, we should look at some submissions. I was just stalling while Steve pulled up all the submissions. Is that what you did?
That's what I did, yeah, while you were doing that. Thank you for that.
Teamwork. High five, Steve. Double. Poof. Perfect.
All right, here we go.
So make sure
there are some.
Are we doing hashtag? Are we doing hashtag also? I feel like you got that covered all the time.
I pulled up hashtag, and there weren't a lot of them actually. People were not doing the hashtag this time.
All right, well, we'll do everything. And if you guys throw a hashtag on there, it's sweet. It's
Let me
okay.
go back in and I'll do the hashtag.
No,
as
we
well.
can. Let's do all of them. I want to see everything. And that is how you add a third nipple.
There's your third nipple challenge.
Drop the mic. Drop the water bottle.
Okay, so we'll start here.
Mm-hmm.
And see what I mean?
Wait, you're at top. You're at top post. You got to go down. This is top post.
Yeah.
You got a recent post.
No, I did recent right here.
Okay, yeah. So that's Connor posting stuff on the channel.
Nice.
Brendan S. All right.
I like the color
crop
change actually.
and the crops are good.
Yeah, a lot of people went vertical crop, which I really kind of dug.
Hashtag 3 the nipple. It's pretty funny.
3.
Somebody.
Oh, we've completely gone there now.
Yeah. This is what happens when we don't have people on here that can judge us.
I like this one.
That's cool. A little too sharp for me.
Yeah, I agree. Interesting change.
Let's pause on them for a second. Look on. All right, this is Norskin, my personal edit.
Yeah, I like the layering effect. I think it's a little too strong.
He looks like he's about to go
because if you look
Super
at
Saiyan.
his right forearm's gone kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. It's all good. I think they're going for like an artsy vibe. It's a close.
So that's all of it. Oh no, here's some on the hashtag down here.
Cool. Yeah, man. They're just getting.
There were some really good black and whites.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel, Steve. I like the red, but I feel like this image. And let's talk about why this image works so well in black and white. It's because of the shadows and the highlights, right? It just looks so. It looks.
The lighting on it was really, really nice. It just needed massaging. Like here, I would actually say this is a little over sharp on his face, and his face is getting some weird artifacts on it, and his face is kind of dark. But I like where you were going with it, Adrian.
I think that Steve. I think that like if you pull up one of the shots, this actually hits like a lot of things that I usually don't like in the image. Light on the nose, weird light from behind, all that stuff. But it still works because he's just like a rock star.
Like this one from Chris is very, very similar to what I did.
Yeah, yellow, and they made the chest yellow though.
Every time I zoom in, Instagram hates it. This was interesting.
Oh wow! I think MS painted this. It's pretty cool.
Oh, this was a double.
Oh, that's cool. I love that wide.
Yeah.
Can't see.
Make it real wide like that. Yeah, that's nice.
What up, Jasmine? Let's see. Skyway.
Let me jump over to here because there's more of them here that we can work with. Like this was interesting. I kind of like that.
Give it a little zoom action. See, let's get a little close up. Let's see it. Does it not like it? Oh yeah, you got it.
Instead of zooming that, I'm going to zoom the screen. I think it'll be better. I don't know if that'll work. All right. This was interesting too.
What's happening? They give him wings? That's cool.
Wings, stuff around the mic stand. Somebody took a lot. They changed the belt. Very, very creative.
Good job, Adventures JoJo.
There was another one that went outside the box. This was Nate's.
Oh yeah, we got Nate in the chat. Nate's the one that does all the crazy art.
He did a couple of them, I think. See if I can find the other one. This was an interesting one with the colors.
Well, they added a bunch of lights.
Added a bunch.
I've never done acid, but I feel like I am.
They put a film effect on it based on the color on the top. I think they put a film effect on it.
Oh, what up? JoJo's in chat too. Let's go. What up, JoJo?
Oh, this was kind of cool. I like what they did here. They used kind of an overlay effect, but then also mirrored him, did like a watermark of him.
Where? Where's the watermark? Oh, behind him?
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
But it's really thinking outside the box. I like that. This was awesome. This was my favorite one.
Cage the LA Ant.
Yeah, Cage the LA Ant.
I love.
It's a new band. They have 3 nipples.
Oh wow.
Very little known fact.
Has anybody in chat done all like 10 or 11 challenges? I think sans mine, all 10 of them.
Let's see, and then I'll jump to Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Twitter time. There were a ton on Twitter this time. This was where like this Natalie, I love your black and white here. Totally different crop, extended the top.
Yeah, that's actually really nice. I like this vibe a lot.
Yeah.
Hey Steve,
like-
after we're done, I'm not trying to make. I'm trying to go through images, but I tell you the three-legged chicken joke.
No, you did not.
Oh, I mean it's a joke from another comedian that's done it a long time ago, but I kind of want to tell you it later if we have time. If that's cool.
This is Robbie's. A lot of really nice black and whites in here.
Steve's staying on task. Sorry, guys. That's my fault. Wait, can we see? Yeah, I like that one where they did two next to it. Oscar. That's nice. I actually like when people brighten it. You can see the eyes more.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah, and by the way, one thing I probably would have done on this is the whites of his eyes. I probably would have just in Lightroom gone in with a brush. I have a brush preset for whitening the eyes that kind of pulls the saturation down and lowers a couple of other things that would have been really nice. There was one this one I liked.
See, like, I think these are cool, but I never am like, I don't know. I do like this crop, actually. They made it work really well.
That's what I mean. The crop, I could see that as a cover art.
I think what makes it is he's looking right at you, huh?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that I love about this image, this is one of my image competition judging things.
So the
both his eyes, there's whites of his eye on both sides of both eyes. So like that.
Oh yeah.
The eye on camera right, his left eye. If that was touching the inside corner of his eye and there was no white there, it would hurt the shot. But the fact that I can see a little white in there so that I have full circles for his irises makes a much better shot.
Yeah, when Steve shoots his show, he actually has a giant googly eye he puts on his forehead, and then the artists look at right at his camera.
Well, he actually does have a googly eye. This is a nice, interesting.
You are him. Oh yeah.
Kind of moody.
They got rid of the cut black.
Yeah, some of the like this was awesome. I loved this.
Who's this? We can't see their name.
It is
Matt. Oh, they're in chat. Matt Flood.
Yeah.
They were here.
I loved this.
Yeah. Hey, you guys should all be friends with each other if you're doing this. Find other people. Everybody be friendly. Got this community going. I mean,
just the color changes here.
Oh wow, this is sick. Who's that? Oh, that was Matt.
Yeah, that was Matt.
What up?
This was one of my favorite black and whites, actually. This is a nice black and white. Notice what they did. They angled the shot.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. It makes it
look like... A little bit
of
grain added. Who's this one? This is Svenja.
Can you do... Oh, yeah, they're in chat. Hey, Steve, can you do like an Elvis Presley, like, voice?
A what?
An Elvis Presley voice, like the really deep voice. Like, thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
That's what that looks like in that microphone. It looks like he's leaning in. He's doing one of those.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Elvis has left the building.
Yeah.
This one was interesting to me. I love the fact that Melissa decided to keep the 4 spotlights.
Yep.
But remove other stuff.
That is true.
Kind of adds to it.
And
no,
also,
I was surprised.
Melissa did not add a third nipple. That is cool.
Well,
that is cool. That works.
Yeah, with the light bleed coming in from the left, it grunges it up.
Can you imagine what would happen if on the bottom here, where it's all washed out, they didn't wash out the legs and the arm, and they made that part pop? That could kind of look cool.
Yeah.
But I do like how it's got a film look to it.
This is LeBron James.
What up, Josh Prowl? I haven't seen your name in here. So
There's Brendan right here.
Maybe I'm missing.
Parker's going to start hiding nipples in his edits from now on. Just random nipples. Where's nipple?
We got a stray nip.
We
got a renegade nipple. I like this. I like this a lot too. This is beautiful.
Yeah. I can picture this with copy up above in the smoke.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would say is the right hand, there's an area in the right. Let me get my mouse big right up in here. It does look cloned, so I would try and get that to where it didn't look like clone tracks.
You could give him a thought bubble.
Yeah, you could.
But the extra
psychedelic. That's like 1968 right there.
Valerie's getting freaky. Renegade nipple is awesome.
Let's see. Let me jump up a couple because there's a ton. This was interesting. Tight crop. Yeah, he's looking just right down the barrel, almost like he's pissed at me. Let's see. Let me jump up here because there was one I wanted to show you and get your. There's the one with the text. That was cool. Where is it?
I hope we get the next raw editing challenge up soon.
This was a nice black and white. I like that.
That is awesome.
That's from Shirley Jane.
Man, we got a good variety, Steve.
Yeah, there's some nice stuff. That let me just get all the way to the top here really quick. Oh, this was interesting too. Yeah, there was some really creative stuff happening.
I like when they have room to get creative.
And get up. There was a black and white all the way at the top, I thought. No, I guess not. Oh, this was interesting too. They changed the lighting from both the left and the right.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool. That's creative. That would look cool in black and white even still.
Yeah, it would be nice if that color got off of his chest.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, huh? It looks infected.
Yeah.
Does this look
if you
infected?
got rid of that, I like what you did. So mask him out and yeah, really, really cool. Yeah, great job, guys. Just really, really good job.
And Jeremy, the OG up at the top there. Jeremy's always in this. Yo, thank you guys so much this week. That was awesome.
Thank you guys
Steve,
very much. I'm impressed with what people did with that shot.
Steve, how did it feel being the subject of the? How did it feel being the photo submitter?
It's weird.
Yeah,
it was actually nervous.
It was nervous. What do you mean?
Well, because I thought to myself, there's been some amazing photographers on here, and people are going to grab this shot and go.
And you're one of them.
What is this? So, no, people did some neat stuff.
Cool. Well, you wanna? I mean, if you guys have any questions for Steve, we do some questions at the end. I know some people were asking how you organize your stuff, but I also don't want to be here all night. But I know it's a very good process.
I have folders for years. In each year, I have a show. Mm-hmm. Under the show, I have a folder for my raw images. I have a completely separate folder on a different drive for all of my exports.
Okay, so you just keep your raws in like a filing cabinet.
I keep my raws, yeah. That's what I keep in that folder. But in that folder, I also put, anytime I sign a release, because shooting through from the pit like I usually do, I get releases periodically. And so I always photograph the release unsigned, and then I photograph it after with the pictures.
Okay.
And that's key because I've had people come want to license pictures, and I've gone back in and went, I was pretty sure I signed a release for that and I don't have a copy of it.
Yeah.
So I always store those with the raw images. And my naming convention is really, really simple. It's my name, first initial, last name, S. Brazill, _ what the show was, _ date code.
Okay. That makes sense. That's a good
and the
one.
reason, by the way, that I leave my name and my file names is because most people, when they do steal an image, they don't change the file name.
That's fair.
So a lot of times you can find out if somebody's using your image just by looking at the file name of the image. But yeah, that's my filing thing.
People are thrifty and they're not always smart.
Do I organize in Lightroom? I use collections. I don't use them as much as I should. I don't. Yeah, I use them. Actually, I use collections to keep track of my portfolios. I have smart collections. If I have a tag for portfolio, and that tag is so I create tags that are exportable and tags that don't export. So I have a portfolio tag that doesn't export with the image, but I also have a music tag if it's a music shot as opposed to a landscape. If a shot, I have a smart collection. If a shot has the tag music and portfolio, it automatically goes into my portfolio collection. And I kind of do the same thing, keeping track of which images I've registered and which ones I haven't.
That's fair. Good process.
Any other questions?
We're not offended if you don't ask them. We just ask them to make sure.
No. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right,
that was easy. But it's weird being on this side.
Nah, that's weird interviewing you. You're the good interviewer, so I'm like, whoa, I'm just good at existing.
What's weird is that it was daylight when we started, and now you're dark.
Yeah, so check it out. Sun moves while we move, and then it changes. I know.
Wait, what?
Is it still bright there for you, right?
I don't know. I have a blackout window up, but I think so. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for hanging. If you want some more social, come to our Discord. We've got good vibes on there. We've got good mods. We have all the mods on here and mods on there, except there's also additionally Cornish Gamers our mod too. And yeah, it's about to get freaky. And yeah, that's basically it. You guys, can we raid a Magic channel, please? I just love doing it. I know that people probably hate it, but I think it's kind of funny. What do you think, Steve? Is that okay with you?
I say yeah.
All right, we're doing it. This is LSV. He's like one of the best Magic players there is. So we'll just go there. Thank you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you on Thursday. We're all see you on Thursday, and Steve will see you again on.
Thank you again to everybody for editing it. I appreciate your kindness in the comments.
Right now. Let me cancel. Let me turn it off, Steve. One moment.